today I'm talking with Cynthia Wohlschlager. She is the director of the Young Artist Programs for the Nightingale Opera Theater Company. How are you today, Cynthia?
I'm doing well, thank you so much.
And thanks for coming in. Go ahead and just share with me a little bit about yourself and why you are passionate about this work and why you want to train young artists in opera theater.
Well, actually, I am passionate because when I was first exposed to opera wasn't until college.
Okay.
And I was at the University of Akron and was in a production of The Marriage of Figaro in the chorus, and I remember going into the rehearsal the first time and being in awe of what voices could do. Mm-hmm. And it was then that I was like, I am going to dive all the way into this art form and see where it takes me. And what it made me realize is that someone can develop a passion and a love for something without ever having been introduced to it.
So I wonder that, did you sing before that? Did you do other kinds of singing and then just got introduced to opera in college, or had you not been singing before?
I was in musical theater, and
Okay.
mostly I was in band. I played clarinet, and I was field commander in the marching band at Nordonia High School, and was heavily involved in music. Just never classical opera. Mm-hmm. I had, of course, worked on classical pieces in Italian for solo and ensemble contest, but never really was exposed
to the whole world of it.
Exactly.
You know, and I think that's actually one thing that I love about your company, to just take it in a little bit of a different direction for a moment. I know that you guys also bring programs to youth and elementary mm-hmm. schools. And actually, my daughter was just at your performance of Alice in Wonderland.
Mm-hmm. At the Akron Civic.
At the Akron Civic. And one thing that I noticed was that they actually didn't prepare them well before, but you guys did when they got there. You kind of explained it. But before, I would have loved if her school was like, hey, we're going to go see some classical voice, and this is what to expect. And but then I love that what you guys do is you kind of swoop in and say, hey, this is classical music, and you are exposing kids
absolutely
to it at a younger age, and they're able to experience it before college.
Right,
so.
And I mean, research is saying that if students are exposed prior to 6th grade, mm-hmm. that they take in the art form within their own perception versus thinking about how society perceives it without actually having access to it yet.
Right, right.
And so, you know, of course you'll start singing opera, and some littles will cover their ears, but then some the performance will end and they will just be full of questions.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's so interesting to see how the young mind takes in an art form like this.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool that you are bringing that to them at such a young age. I mean, these were 3rd graders
right.
going to this show, and so that was a lot of fun for her to come home and kind of chat about that and share with me her thoughts on it. So I love that you guys do that. But we're here today to talk about your older artists, older than 3rd grade. They're still young artists.
Yes.
And they are going to be doing a performance coming up. So share with me about that performance and about the Young Artist Program.
So we have 3 performances coming up. The first is Saturday, July 15th, and that is First Congregational Church in Hudson, Ohio. And that will be a program of arias from operas that are based around fairy tale themes.
Ooh, that's fun.
And then we are working on a production of Cendrillon by Pauline Viardot, and that is the French version of Cinderella.
Oh, fun. That's fun.
So
That's
really it's about an hour long, mm-hmm. and will occur at the Goodyear Theater the following Friday and Saturday in June, the 20th and 21st.
Perfect.
And our Young Artist Program invites, by audition, young artists that are college-aged and post-college. So we'll have anyone from age 18 through 30 or early 30s.
Okay.
And it is a training program that allows students to work with faculty on honing their craft, working on languages, stage deportment, movement, acting, the business of singing, vocal health.
That's really wonderful. I know we were chatting earlier, and I shared with you that I have a music degree, did music through college, but a lot of that that you just even mentioned wasn't addressed in my degree. And hopefully now, it's been a little while since I've graduated, they're addressing more of those things, but that's beautiful that you guys are kind of filling a hole for post-graduation. Hey, how can we stay in this field? How can we become a professional singer? What are the things that I need? So I love that you're doing that for young artists that want to stay doing their craft.
Absolutely.
On, so.
In the 21st century, learning to navigate a professional career in opera takes a complete skill set outside of learning to sing.
Absolutely.
And it is in young artist programs, training programs, singers will go multiple years, sometimes up to 10 years of programs before they launch onto national and international stages. And so they will take time with different companies in different locations and get exposure to different faculty and directors.
And just be able to hone their craft.
Hone their craft.
Mm-hmm.
You know, have a chance to work on a role, have a chance to work on an aria that they might use for their audition season coming up.
That's really beautiful. I love that. Okay, so I want to go back to the shows. And if someone has never gone to classical theater of any kind, what could they expect? Can they bring their kids along? Let's specifically talk about the Cinderella performance, the French version of Cinderella.
1,000,000% they can bring their children. Nightingale's mission invites children of all ages to come to our performances. We're used, like for example, when we did Alice, the audience was kindergarten through 3rd grade. And the first performance, Melissa Davis, who is the founding director of the company, said it felt like a basketball game. Like they were cheering at, like as each new character came on.
I love that.
And so
they're getting excited
exactly.
About it. That's wonderful.
And it's Cinderella. It's a fairy tale. It's completely accessible to children and families. But it, you know, of course, it has a draw for all ages. The costume design is going to take an anime flair.
Ooh,
so we're going to see a little bit of
just anime
an angle.
Life. Yes.
Exactly.
In the costuming. That's
a different
fun.
type of fairy tale.
Yes. And actually, Melissa is a friend of mine as well. I went to school with her, so the artistic director, and she actually messaged me this morning telling me that all kids' tickets, you may not even know this yet, are going to be $5 for that. So, so very accessible to kids. Bring kids and $5 tickets for that.
Absolutely.
And then for anyone else looking to get tickets, where can they go to get those tickets?
They can go to nightingaleoperatheater.com.
Okay, perfect. And then can they also get tickets for the other concert that's going to be in Hudson
At the
as well?
same location.
Perfect.
And then they can also buy tickets at the door in both locations.
Great. That's always good to know. If it's something maybe last minute, they're not sure if they can make it.
Exactly.
They can come and get tickets at the door. Wonderful. All right, before we wrap up, if there's someone watching who really just loves to sing, maybe this is a teen, she hasn't even gone to school yet, we'll think of a 15-year-old girl possibly considering classical voice, what would you say to her? What would you recommend?
I would say that it's really important to understand that people are capable of hard things, that we can do and face hard things, and that if you do a deep dive into an art form like opera, that it may seem distant, but the more research and the more study that one does, the closer it can be to allowing you to communicate in a different language to an audience of English speaking people. That's
really beautiful. What's your favorite thing about the show that you're putting on about Cinderella?
My favorite thing is the way that Viardot's version uses the original story, but changes some of it. So, for example, instead of the wicked stepmother, we have a bumbling father figure. We still have the two eccentric stepsisters, and Cendrillon is still in a very loving person, innocent. But the prince actually has a different approach because he actually switches places with his servant. And when he meets Cinderella at the ball, he is that servant. So she falls in love with a servant because he wants to be loved for himself alone.
Yeah.
And so it gives this real love type. Exactly. And then just the idea that Cinderella reminds us that if you're pure at heart and you do things for the right reasons, that you can overcome great obstacles.
I love that. That's beautiful. What a great story. And I love that it's a little bit of a different twist on it, so people can check out the French version. Tell me, say it one more time.
Cendrillon.
Cendrillon. That's beautiful as well. All right. Thank you so much for being here, Cynthia.
Thank you so much for having me.
So we'll send everyone to nightingaleoperatheater.com,
Correct.
For tickets, and
Yes.
they can pick those up. And bring all of your kids. $5
Yes,
tickets.
children
Bring your
are
kids.
welcome.
Yes, we love that. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching here on Good Morning Akron. We had a great interview with Cynthia, and I hope you'll stay tuned because we've got more great stuff coming up next.